Get ready to expand your intuition, connect to God, experience deeper relationships, open your heart and feel more joy, and finally end the chaos in your life. Are you ready to get unstuck and more? You ask, how do I do it? The answer is simple. The time has come for peak spiritual fitness. It starts right now on Spirituality Bootcamp with your host, Kristen White.
Hello, everyone. Are you ready to get fit, to get into that peak spiritual fitness? Well, now is the time. We have an incredible series, and this is only week 2. Yes, that's right. It's week 2 of Spirituality Bootcamp. And the reason that I came up with this concept is I was on a journey a while back in my life, and I thought, well, how can I shift my reality? I don't really like what things are unfolding in my life, and how can I take it to that next level? And I knew in that moment, inside my soul, inside my intuition, that if I could start to listen, if I could connect to these basic principles of sacred space, gratitude, forgiveness, visualization, affirmation, meditation, and prayer, that I could have a transformation. Now, at the time, I didn't have a map. There wasn't a plan in front of me, but I knew that something had to shift. And so I started this own personal exploration. And at the time, it was more of a self-you, like self-university. And so now, today, it is my great joy, many years later, to bring to you some of the leaders, some of the thought leaders in the world of spirituality, personal development, and growth today here on Spirituality Bootcamp. And I'm so grateful to VividLife Radio and specifically Shane Travis, because we put our heads together and we're like, we need to create a university. We need to create a conversation for all of you out there who want to have this deeper consciousness and connection within yourself so that you can move into this place of joy and peace and love and just connection with the flow of everything that is going on the planet today. So, a shout out to you, Shane. Thank you so much. I see you're in my Skype chatting with me, so I just want to say hi to you. Shane was on last week. We got him to come on to the show and to talk a little bit about our vision for Vivid Life University. And I just want to thank all of you who are listening. We've had an incredible response. There are a lot of you who have registered for this free series, and I invite you at this time to please invite other people that you know. It is our message and our mission to help create this shift, this opening, this conversation really for all of you who are out there, and that's why this series is offered completely complimentary. We want to invite you to participate in our Spirituality Bootcamp. Now, today, I'm so excited. I absolutely love this topic today. I believe that this is, in fact, the most powerful transformational principle on the planet today, and that is the principle of gratitude. And so I have a leader, a author, a spiritual teacher. Her name is Sharon Quirt. Many of you are familiar with her from her show on VividLife Radio and all the work that she's done through Hay House and so many channels of inspiration and light. She does live workshops, incredible things. She's the co-founder of John Shi, which is a wellness center up in Canada. It's absolutely beautiful. She'll tell you all about it. But Sharon has also helped people from all around the world change their lives from fear, anger, resentment, and pain into that place of true gratitude. Have you ever thought to yourself, maybe there's a reason for this, or thank you for this experience, even though it may be unpleasant at that time? Well, Sharon is here to help you have that shift in your perception of what's happening in your life right now. She's going to share with us some techniques to bring in balance and healing and self-love, and her passion is for healing and spiritual guidance, and it's given her the opportunity to work worldwide. So she's got 25 years of experience, and she is just fantastic. So Sharon, thank you so much for joining us today here on Spirituality Bootcamp. I'm so thrilled you're here.
And I am so grateful. Thank you so much for having me.
So let's just start right off the bat. What is the meaning of gratitude?
Wow, it's one of those things that if you take the real time in your life to think about it, it's so simple, because it is the single most powerful source of happiness. To be truly gratitude is to be completely accepting without judgment. And that is the one thing that I teach people the most, is to get to a place where you can look at all of the life experiences that you have had and find something in it that has taught you and has continued to teach you throughout your lifetime, and be grateful for it. Not being gratified, not being puffed up over it, be truly grateful to the core that it gives you back a sense of power, a sense of freedom, and a sense of communication within yourself. That's what I believe gratitude truly is.
Boy, I love that definition, because it really is complete. And I like it when you talk about sometimes we have circumstances that really offer us an invitation to transform the way that we look at things in our lives. I mean, I know I've had this happen for myself, where something has come in, and at the surface I thought, is this negative? And then as I look at it more, I think, boy, that was probably the biggest blessing in my life.
And that's something that I think most people really might miss out on until they get to a place of acceptance of gratitude, because there's so many things that occur on a daily basis that we may see as being painful, traumatic, or an experience that may have left a scar. But when we sit back afterwards and we're able to look at it and really examine what it is that it's brought into our lives, we can then find that shining light of power that it's giving us. And maybe it's something that we've learned that we need to teach somebody else with, or possibly it's something that we've had to serve our own life purpose. Or maybe it's something that we were to learn to help us move forward into a bigger and better picture of our own identities. But all of those little experiences added up, even when they're negative, can have that experience or have that, potential gift within it to heal us and to guide us and to bring us to a better spiritual place within as well.
Absolutely. And, the whole reason that we created this concept Spirituality Boot Camp is for people to get started wherever they're at in their lives. So for those of our listeners who are sitting there and saying, I'm finding something hard to be grateful for even today. Like, I've had a hard day. Maybe I'm not working right now. My relationship is seems like it's unraveling. Maybe I have a health crisis. What would you say to them directly in this moment?
Well, in all situations, there is some little form of experience that if there is to be grateful for. So let's take something like you said, maybe a breakup. In a breakup, often it is a door that is about to open that we're afraid to see. And possibly the pain that you suffered within the relation is about to be healed by loving yourself. So take from it the experience that the pain that you're suffering, maybe it is to teach you how to love yourself more, to care more for yourself as an individual. If you had an exceptionally difficult day, you fell off your bike, possibly it was to protect you from falling even harder. There's always a way to reframe the thought that you have from the negative experience to a positive outcome. It's just perception. It's the way you see it. Often I have people come to me and talk about some of the most traumatic experiences that they've been through and how they can find the power of gratitude within it. And it changes the way they think about absolutely everything. A lady actually last week broke a fingernail by hitting her thumb really hard with a hammer. And she called me up. She goes, I'm so grateful I did that. And I said, well, why is that? She goes, because the hammer narrowly missed my little baby boy's head. So to me, she found the power of gratitude in the fact that she hit her thumb instead of his little head. And if we can take the time to actually think of those experiences, how much gratitude there is in all of the everyday common events that happen. And then we can find the power of true gratefulness and also find that power within ourselves that actually begins to heal us and make us feel like as if, there's something really great happening every single day. And there is a miracle in every experience that we have.
You touched on something that I think is so important, Sharon, and that's this whole concept of perception, that our perception really does create our reality. I mean, we've heard that cliche, do you look at the world if your cup is half full or half empty? And I do think that inside some of us, we have a tendency or a propensity to have a perception that can be either positive or negative. So what are some strategies to shift into that more higher perception or the more powerful gratitude conversation within ourselves?
Yeah. That's something I've been teaching for such a long time, and I go back to my book, The Keys, that I've co-written with Denise Merrick. It really talks to the ego. And for within most of us, there is a place that we have that negative thought pattern. And when our ego's in control over that, it's very difficult to say anything nice about anyone else, including ourselves. But I tell people, why not stop for a moment and listen to your thoughts? Are you actually judging yourself or others, or judging the experiences that you're going through based on a negative perception, something that was taught to you by your education, or something that was taught to you via your religion even, or just the way that you were actually brought up? And if it is, possibly it's time for you to actually shut down the voice of that ego, take control over it, and reframe it. Give it some positive thought. Give it something to actually hold on to. Give your own mind an opportunity to start thinking from a positive place, from within the heart. And instead of giving that ego its full reign, take control over it and shift those perceptions so that you can actually find gratitude in even the most difficult experiences. It's so important, I think, for every one of us to stop sometimes and question ourselves where our thoughts are actually coming from. Is it from that negative place that's controlled by the ego, or is it from our true hearts, from our emotions, or from deep within our own intellectual mind or our spirit? And I think we all, and every person goes through this when we're dealing with trauma or chaos or stress. We all have to pull back and we have to question ourselves. Am I asking the questions from within it, or am I perceiving what's happening based on a negative ego or based on my true self? It's so important.
You know, this is such a powerful point right here in this moment. And if everyone listening only understands this point about what we perceive and the source of that perception, then you can have a shift right now in this moment. And I love what you talked about, is that through this ego, are we channeling languages and messages that maybe come from the home that we grew up in? Are we channeling languages and messages that come from the fear that's in our ego? Are we channeling messages and perceptions that come from some other source outside of our true nature, of our joyful soul? And when we can identify the source of our perception, that's when we can begin to break the power of it.
Absolutely. You know, and it's so interesting that the reiteration there. It is the power. Gratitude is a true power. It's the complete source of happiness. And when you actually live with a complete mind full of power and gratitude, it's amazing how the ego cannot be in control. And I think for the people who are just starting out on this journey of discovering, you know, their own spirituality, the second step really is to be grateful. And to be grateful that you first made the choice to be here and to be listening and to choose to actually open your mind to something that is different. Because when you find gratitude, all that negative will simply slip away. And all of those things that are harming you or making you feel or controlled by your ego also will dissipate. It is an amazing, powerful source of wellness and happiness.
You know, that is so true, Sharon. And I have noticed myself that when I start to really pay attention to and practice gratitude, that sources of pain, negativity, disappointments, they seem to just dissolve. You know, it's not always immediate. You know, sometimes it's like that Alka-Seltzer tablet, you know, that you drop inside a cup of water. You know, you still kind of see it for a while, but then it's effervescent and it bubbles and it dissolves and it breaks apart. I really think that's true for situations, that, you know, when you first look at a situation, you know, it kind of feels hard and solid, and it's like, okay, this is what it is. But as we immerse it inside love and acceptance and gratitude and remove our ego, it just breaks apart. And it becomes a multitude of different lessons, experiences, touch points for our soul.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, and you point out something. Now, a lot of people think that, you know, becoming grateful for their lives is just going to make everything else invisible that is affecting them in a negative way. But it's a practice. Like everything else, you have to put it into practice. I'm not one of those believers that you think it and it will create itself. I'm one of those believers that you think it, you create an image of it, and now you go out and act towards creating it. And you actually have to do that with gratitude. You truly have to embrace the philosophy of living this way, that if you're grateful for the experiences that you had, good, bad, or ugly, that it will actually bring a power of happiness to your heart instead of actually weighing you down and controlling you. And, you know, there's 5 wonderful steps that I actually teach people about how to actually continue on the path of gratitude, and throughout their lifetime make sure that they are actually focused on what's next in their lives. You know, and I'm going to give a few here tonight, but I'm hoping people are actually going to take advantage of the course in gratitude, because it's really something I feel that can change everyone's life. But the first step to me is really keeping that gratitude journal. You know how a lot of us actually, thanks. Or Thanksgiving, we give thanks for the turkey, or a Christmas present or a birthday present, thank you. And we give a hug and a kiss. But what about actually writing out the things in your life that have changed your life and show gratitude for those? And that's what I talk about the gratitude journal. It's really about everyday events that have happened that you should show gratitude towards yourself, your body, your mind, and your spirit for the experiences. Because little bit by little bit, it's going to actually teach you how to be completely grateful for every experience that you're going through. It's a wonderful way of doing it. You can do it every day. You can do it every 3 days, whichever it is that you want. But write down the things that you're grateful for. I know for myself right now in my own journey, I'm grateful for the changes that I've undergone over the last 2 months. They're empowering, and it's an incredible journey that I'm on right now. And I'm so grateful for each and every challenge, each and every door opening, and each and every happy and exciting moment that I'm experiencing. And I will never look back at my life with any sort of regret because I am grateful for all the experiences. And that's what I'm hopeful people get from living with a life of true gratitude, is a life without regret.
I love that because I think that sometimes things happen and we find ourselves looking backwards instead of looking forwards. We look at, boy, I wish that relationship or marriage had worked out. I wish that, I hadn't gotten behind the wheel that day, when there was a car accident. I wish that something had happened differently in the past. And that this really creates a conversation with ourselves that keeps us stuck, in these similar kind of patterns. And what you're talking about right now is so powerful because it offers an opportunity to expand beyond things that have happened and to find a reason to be grateful for it. I have someone who I've worked with who lost 2 children to a genetic illness. Okay, 2 children. I mean, imagine that, losing 2 children. You're living in a hospital for several years to a genetic illness. And it's interesting because on some level for that, she's grateful. And the reason that she is because it, number one, completely opened up her spirituality. Okay, she's completely opened up all of her channels of intuition and connection and is having a whole conversation she would have never had. She has been able to express a much more powerful identity of herself in the world as a leader, and she's written a book. I mean, not saying that she's trading one for the other. I mean, of course, as parents, we would never trade having our children beside us, but it happens. Tragic things happen, but she has found a reason to be powerfully, daily grateful.
And it's so funny because what you talk about there, really, it comes down to duality, because she would have never known the power of her own gifts had she not discovered the loss of the gifts that she received.
Right.
And I feel for every person in this world, when you can actually stand back and see that you only learn good through learning the bad. You have to go through something in this life to actually get to the point of wonderment and greatness. And where she's at, obviously, this is what she's done. And so, yes, she hasn't traded up anything. If anything, she's probably more connected to those children now in spirit than she's ever been or ever could possibly be. They were an amazing gift to her and obviously brought out that wonderful teacher that she is. And that's what I think for many people when they're embarking upon a new journey, especially in spirituality, when you become grateful of who you are and what you've experienced in this lifetime. And I'll just share a little quick story of my own journey. Growing up, it wasn't all so easy. It was very traumatic. It was very difficult. It had a lot of ups and downs and upside downs and backwards. But I came through it looking back saying, my God, I'm so thankful. Had I not learned all of those things, I wouldn't be able to teach people today exactly what it is that they're going through, how to get through it. Not get stuck in the middle, not go back 25,000 times, but truly get through it, understanding it, embracing it, and learning from it. And that's what I think the power of gratitude can really give us, is to get through things with ease and acceptance and with grace, and to live within that life of grace as well, where in your mind, body, and spirit, there's joy. It's not a facade, like your friend. It's real. She's truly, really there at a place where she's at acceptance, and there's joy within her because she's found that place, and she's accepted that place, and she's found gratitude. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely. I want to take a moment and let everyone who's on the call, I know we have a lot of you, and let you know that we will be taking some questions at the end, and we're going to take a quick break. But if you want to call in a little bit later, these phone numbers are 646-200-3448. All right, so that's 646-200-3448, and Sharon will take your questions. also, we have a toll-free number that's only available inside the States, and that's 877-903-1396. Again, that's 877-903-1396. And to all of you, you are listening to Spirituality Boot Camp here on VividLife Radio, and this is part of our series that we are rolling out through VividLife University, and this is only week 2. And what we're covering today is gratitude. And my guest today is Sharon Quirt. She is a Hay House author, a motivational speaker, a spiritual counselor. Basically, she is an amazing, powerful woman and a thought leader on this planet. So, Sharon, thank you so much for being with us today, and we're back. And we're going to keep talking about those 5 steps that you started to unfold for us right before the break.
Absolutely. And again, I'm so grateful to be here and be experiencing this, and I'm very grateful to Shane Travis and Vivid Life for putting this together, and also to you, Kristen. So just that little thing of gratitude, I think we always have to learn to share that and be graceful about it. So I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, so the second step to truly embracing gratitude is I have always taught people how to write a letter. And so many of us don't do that any longer. We might put a few thoughts together, and we might email, we might even text. But how many of us actually write a letter to ourselves? And what this is about is a letter of appreciation. And you can send it out to those that you appreciate and that you're grateful for teaching you silently, thanklessly, or you can keep it and use it as a tool to help you embrace and understand all of the things in your life that you're grateful for. Because when you take the time to write it out, it's almost like a contract to self, that I'm grateful for the fact that I've actually gone through this journey and this experience, and I'm grateful that you were my teacher. Even if it is somebody hit you in their car and you were harmed, be grateful for the experience, because possibly you have learned then how to heal. Maybe your body needed to heal, or maybe the doctor needed to learn from you, or maybe somebody in your family was unconditionally giving to you during that period of time, and it's taught them that, oh my God, I couldn't live without that person. So take the time and truly write out a letter of appreciation. It's an incredible way of actually learning to focus on gratitude. And do it every day. Write a little letter of gratitude every night. It could only be a paragraph. It could be a sentence for one of the things that you've experienced that you're grateful for.
Sharon, I have used these gratitude letters before in my life, and they are so powerful. They're like a magical message to the universe. I used one several times, but one of the times that was really significant was right after I went through a divorce, and I was thinking, if I could attract my perfect partner, what would that person look like? And I wrote a letter as if it had already happened, and all the things that I would be thankful for inside that person. And if 60 days later I didn't attract that person through an unconventional channel, and we're married today. I mean, when we really put it out there inside this powerful letter, I got to tell you guys, this is a ninja trick. Okay, so Sharon is not telling you this, but this is a spiritual ninja trick. Write that gratitude letter. It is so powerful, and I will tell you, I went back and I read it right around our wedding. We got married in Sedona at a Native American ceremony at this beautiful place called Rachel's Knoll. It's like a Native American ritual site. And I went back and I read it, and it was like to the letter the person that I attracted. Now, I was like, this or something better. I put that divine disclaimer on the end of that gratitude letter. But actually, we do. We manifest exactly what we're grateful for, and then it expands beyond that. And so I have to tell you, I just want to put that in there, because what you're saying right now is a great daily practice. And that's what the show is all about, is what are the daily spiritual practices that are practical that you can use to shift your life.
And I love that, and it's so important for each and every one of us to actually take the time to think of what it is that we're grateful for and write it out. And then I also, in step number 3, so you've written it to yourself and you've created that, and congratulations, by the way. I'm so happy that you created that in your life. And then what about doing number 3 is make a true step towards showing gratitude. And I call it the visitation of gratitude. We always go to see people when they're either in a funeral or at a wedding or when they're ill. But do we ever just show up to somebody and say, hey, you know what? When you gave me that compliment 4 weeks ago and you told me my eyes were sparkling blue and you look great today, you changed the way I shifted that day, and I felt so much better about myself. And we don't do that any longer. We don't show gratitude unless there's some divine reason, or unless there's something big going on. So go out and do a visitation of gratitude. Go out and actually let somebody know that you're grateful for the experiences of them being in your life. Or maybe pick up the phone and invite your mom over for dinner and say, Mom, I'm really grateful that you gave me life. And even if it is you don't have the great relationship with her, she gave you that gift. Be grateful for the things in your life and visit that gratitude. Because when you do, the happiness that you actually have within yourself for sharing that, and the happiness that other person has, it's amazing how much it's healing. It'll shift your perceptions, and it'll defeat the ego's voice, and it'll stop it from allowing itself to take control, and you'll be back in control.
You know, it's interesting, Sharon, you've put out a pretty powerful challenge to our listeners, and I don't know if they really heard it clearly. And that challenge is to invite people to go to individuals in their lives, loved ones, family members, and thank them for the experience that you're having with them. So you may have a brother, a sister, a parent, an ex-spouse, a child that you haven't talked to in a while, or that you're having a conflict with, or that things are not positive, and you're actually, I hear you inviting them to connect from a place of gratitude and to see what magic can happen in that place.
Absolutely. It's healing. It's freeing, and it brings them back to a place of grace. So there's no negativity. Even if it is that they've had an argument, be grateful for that argument, because maybe there's something for you both to learn. Maybe one of you is hot-headed, or maybe you both are. And maybe that is going to actually teach you how not to be by bringing great gratitude back into your life, bringing gratitude back into that relationship. It's really an important step. And then I'll quickly cover the last two. You know, when you make a list for your groceries, and you might write down 50, 40 different things, and you'll go out and you'll get those things, and you'll put them in your body, and you'll nourish your body with them. And so it's a positive thing, because you remember what it is that you actually had to get. But I feel it's important for us to have a gratitude list, a full list, and sometimes it could be 1,000 things in your life. What do you value most with gratitude? So for myself, it's being here on this earth and having my son and having wonderful friends and having unconditional love and having the opportunity to be on this show and having my extended family whom I love that I've adopted. And I'm grateful for me being here today and having this voice and all of these wonderful things. My list is continuous. It never ends. And when something else happens, I add it to my list. And sometimes, if there's a sad moment or a hurt moment, I'll go back to that gratitude list to remind myself all the things I'm grateful for. Even though my ego sometimes trickles in and says, you don't have that much to be grateful for today, it's kind of a bad day. If I have that list near me, which is now on my iPad, I'm able to actually go there and remind myself, it's like, oh yes, I have so much. I have so much. And I'm living life without regret because of that. I need to actually bring myself back to that place of gratitude and happiness because I do have so much. So do a gratitude list. And the fifth one is to take that gratitude walk. Walk in your own shoes. Be moving in your life. Be moving from the past, and don't hold yourself in grudge. Move into your present and walk in your present shoes. And be grateful that you are where you are. Even if it is that you just got fired or that you just got divorced or the person that you love is no longer in your life. Be grateful that you're walking towards a better you, because every step that you are taking in gratitude is leading you down a path towards divine happiness. So never look back at anything. You have to embrace it. You have to have learned from it, and you have to have understood it. But you don't have to carry it with you. So walk towards a life of gratitude. What a lovely 5 steps.
Yeah, I love those 5 steps, and what a lovely image that we need to integrate this into our physical experience. Literally walking forward. You know, I know that a lot of us, you know, we have internet, we have technology, we work in desk chairs at offices, we sit in front of the TV, but we don't put things often into movement today. You know, we're not as out there moving around, especially in nature. And what you're talking about is such a beautiful image and a great reminder. Because I know that when I get outside and I start walking and I think about what I'm thankful for, you know, where it's like each footstep is like, thank you, thank you. You know, you get this kind of cadence going on, thinking about what's happened in the abundance and the fullness of our lives, that we do that integration between like the mind, the body, and the spirit. So thank you for that, Sharon.
And that's the one thing, and I just want to put this out there because I feel it's really important. Many people know that I do this each and every day, and I will say thank you, thank you, thank you. And when I'm giving somebody gratitude or, I'm embracing gratitude, I'm always saying it 3 times. And the reason why is thank you, body, thank you, mind, and thank you, spirit. Mm-hmm. Because all of me is experiencing it at the same time, and I'm grateful that I'm able to absorb that and learn from it.
Yeah, it's so important because when we have this and I love these 5 steps. They're so great. Write a letter, have a visitation of gratitude. Like reach out to people that you love in your life and have a little touch point. It's huge. It's so powerful. Mm-hmm. Create that gratitude list on that iPad so that when you are having a challenging day, because let's face it, it happens. It's there to remind you that you're full and not empty. I mean, these are so practical, and they will make a profound difference. So I want to ask you just a couple more questions. We are going to take a break, and then we're going to take some callers. So I just want to put that number out there if you want to start to get in line for us to take your call, because I know we have a lot of people here on the show tonight. And that local number is, or the non-toll-free number is 646-200-3448. Okay, 646-200-3448. And Nate, our fantastic producer, will get you in line. Or you can call toll-free at 877-903-1396. And that's in the U.S. only. I know we do have callers from around the world, but the toll-free number is 877-903-1396. So, Sharon, in the meantime, I'd like to ask you, when someone lives their life without gratitude, does it negatively affect their lives?
Well, ultimately, yes, absolutely, it does. And could you imagine going through life never feeling peace, never feeling happy, never feeling emotionally or internally powerful? I can't imagine why people would want to live without that place where you can say, wow, I'm so at peace with my life. It feels so good to not have grudge, to not have this internal anger and battle with anyone or anything, that I'm at peace within myself and I live within grace. And when people live like that, honestly, long term, they can become very ill, mindfully and physically, and also spiritually, and they imbalance their own journeys because of it. So if there is anybody that is living with that pain of not knowing gratitude, today is the best day of your life to begin this journey, because truthfully, it will change your life forever.
And that's an important thing that I want to talk about next, is that you are offering all of us, the hundreds of people that are on this call, an opportunity to work with you directly in an advanced class. And why is it important to dig in a little deeper in an advanced class in gratitude?
Well, truthfully, when you stop and you listen and you truly embrace what it is that you personally are dealing with that is stopping you from living in that place of gratitude and grace, in the course, what we're going to do is actually help you open up to think differently, perceive differently, and shift out of that life that you have been living that is stopping you from getting into that beautiful place of gratitude. So that advanced course is really going to lead you down that path, step by step, into how to find that place of gratitude in your own life.
I love that. And what are some of the things that they will learn in this class?
Really, it's about letting go of the grudges in their lives and how to get to a place where the ego is no longer controlling each and every thought that they have, and a place also where they can live free and create their own thoughts of happiness, not anything that anybody else wants for them, but themselves individually. What do they want from within? And to find that power, that internal powerful source of acceptance, because that is what true gratitude is about. Is they will find true acceptance of themselves, who they are in the given moment that they are listening to their class.
I love this idea of acceptance. You talked about something earlier when we were just getting started. You talked about the difference between being grateful and being gratified. And I think this is important to touch base on just before we go into the break, is that when we gratify ourselves, we're just satisfying the desires and needs and urges of our ego. That's different than being in a place of divine gratitude, where we are accepting, where we are grateful, where we are willing to look at things through a lens of perception that has a higher perspective than what we may normally have on any given day. And I just love that you pointed that out to all of us.
It's so important that I think we understand the difference there. And as we get into the in-depth course, people are really going to learn how to discern between the two.
When something devastating has happened in your life, Sharon, and I know that a lot of us out there have had tragedy, it doesn't feel like there's any place for gratitude in that moment.
Yeah, I hear this all the time, and unfortunately I deal with a lot of people that come to me that are going through the bereavement process, and it's very difficult for them to move from anger and pain and sometimes even hatred towards whatever it was that happened to a place of gratitude for the experience. But when we can find what it is that we were to learn and what it is that our soul, or our own, and some people don't believe in soul, but our own spirit had to experience in this lifetime via that trauma, often it was meant to teach us something, to shift us to move forward and to become a better, more powerful spirit or soul in this lifetime. And so even if it is, like I have a friend, unfortunately, whose wife passed away due to a drunk driver. And, he was so devastated at first, and then finally he came to a place where he was grateful for the experience and he forgave the drunk driver because he said, had this not happened, I would have never truly known how much I was absolutely in love with that woman, and all the days and nights that I wasted out in my shop hiding from her or down on the sofa watching the television and not embracing her, I wouldn't have known how much time I wasted. And now I'm going to go and begin a new life and seek out a love that I'm going to cherish. And so everything that we experience in life, there's an opportunity for us to see that somehow, some way, it has taught us something of great, powerful movement. And we need to learn to embrace that in a very positive way and not allow our egos to control it and take advantage of our vulnerability and our weakness at that time. We need to become aware of what it was that we experienced, become accepting of it, forgive it, and move forward and create this beautiful place within our minds of freedom, and then we can live in gratitude and grace.
Sharon, you really are an expert in this topic, and I know that your friend didn't go immediately from grief to gratitude. So what does that journey look like?
Well, for many people, it really is taking the time and going through their feelings, becoming aware of what it is that they're feeling, but perceiving it outside of ego's control. So learning how to truly take the steps that are necessary to say, okay, this is what I've experienced, this is how it's made me feel, this is the pain that I'm suffering, and then learn to accept it. And I think with him, I know now he has actually embraced a new relationship, and he's changed his life completely, and he absolutely honors his wife, who's been dead now for 8 years, but he still connects to her. And when she was here, they didn't have that divine connection. And now they do. And that's the one thing I think for people is that if you take the time to learn how to live in gratitude, it'll open you up to more and better and higher levels of intuition, higher levels of self-gratification, but gratification that's positive, not negative, a place where you're able to actually be in love with yourself, self-empowerment, and self-knowledge as well. So it really does take some time to get there, but boy, if you take the steps, it's incredible how it'll change your life.
I hear you saying the word acceptance over and over again, and I just want to make sure that while we're having this conversation today, this powerful conversation about gratitude, that all of you realize that acceptance is such a big part of it. Now, we do have a caller, and I'm excited that she's here. Her name is Sue, so we're going to bring her on right now. And Sue, welcome to Spirituality Boot Camp featuring Sharon Quirt.
Thank you for having me. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. So share with us a little bit about, do you have a question or do you want to share with us a story about gratitude?
I've found gratitude, just over the last 2 years. I've been on this incredible journey. As a little girl, I had a lot of traumatic events. I guess I was raised, with parents that were alcoholics and been sexually abused, not by them, but other family members. And then my mom just suddenly died. One morning I talked with her, and then a few hours later she was in the hospital. And I didn't really know how to get past everything. Like, I didn't realize that I was carrying so much until she had passed. And then I had actually got to meet Sharon, and I read her book and worked through, did all the letters, and it helped tremendously. And it opened my eyes to so many things. My mom's death was very painful, but she's helped me become aware, like the whole experience has helped me become aware of just things from my past and things from my present. It's helped me become a better mom to my children. And I don't know, we've been on this, my whole family, I guess, has incorporated this gratitude in this journey. A lot of weight loss. My husband and I were both very obese, just not really looking after ourselves. Our kids were following in line with that. And I don't know, it's just amazing. It's the feeling of happiness and complete true love is just amazing.
That's fantastic. That is so fantastic. You talk about gratitude like it actually is in place within you that has brought you to a place of happiness and brought you to a place of freedom. And I see that in all of you every single day when I'm around you. And it's incredible because that is the type of thing that others can have. When you find gratitude, you can find yourself and you can find that wellness. You can shed the weight. You can get rid of those scars. You can get rid of the mental, emotional, spiritual pain that you're suffering, and you can become that true identity that you've always wanted to be.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I'm
it
so
was
proud
something
of
that was
you.
hiding
Thank
me.
you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Without meeting
in.
you, thank you very much, Kristen.
Absolutely. It's I love what she was talking about, because sometimes when we are not in a space that is full of gratitude, we can even see it manifest physically in our lives. If we're holding a lot of energy or pain or resentment, we can see it come in the form of extra weight, in the form of a disease, in the form of something in our physical being. Have you seen this before, Sharon?
No, I see that absolutely in every person who is suffering. And when you are not living in gratitude, you definitely are mentally, emotionally, physically affected by it. When you're outside of yourself and you're not listening to what it is that you're experiencing or learning from it, you suffocate yourself and you abuse yourself. And many addictions, alcoholism, drug abuse, food addictions, all of these things, in some way these people are living outside of gratitude. And when they come to that place of gratitude and when they learn from their life experiences and they embrace what it is that they have learned and understand it completely, truly accept it, they get past it and they live in that place of grace, and their bodies become well. Their minds become well. I've taken people through this journey so many times where this one gentleman is homeless. He had nothing. And he came to me begging, and he said, I have nothing, but I need your work because you changed my sister's life. Can you help me? And of course I welcomed him in, and now he's actually managing his own store in Toronto, and he's doing incredibly well, and he's living gracefully, helping other people do the same. So whatever it is that anyone is suffering, as long as you get to the place of gratitude, it can heal you mindfully, body, spiritually, in every single way.
This is really exciting, Sharon, because what I hear you saying is that this is more than just, I'm going to be thankful. This is about, inside your advanced class, an opportunity for profound and deep healing of our physical bodies, our emotional mind, our spirits, really. And so what are some other things that people can encounter when they work with you inside the class?
What I'm really hoping for people is for them to actually determine who they are. One, to truly understand their own identities, to strip it all the way back to what they want out of their lives, and to find that place within themselves that lives in a place of peace, lives in a place of true future abundance, where they can create what it is that they want now, instead of having all those roadblocks and having all the things that are keeping them from being able to create anything. If it is that you want a new marriage like you, or you want new friends, or to lose weight, I want people to learn how to be in control over their lives gracefully, gratefully, and spiritually, because it is the true steps to freedom. There is no other way. There is no other way to receiving it. You must do this work. And inside the class, I want people to open up that door to their true identities and determine who they truly are, soulfully, purposefully.
To all of you who are listening, you're probably sitting here saying, well, how can I get in this advanced class with Sharon? And the way we are going to invite you to it is right after the show. When you are sent the replay, you will also be sent a link to register for the class. Now, I have to tell you that the spaces are extremely limited, because even though you're in a small, intimate group, you will be able to, over the 4 weeks, to work with Sharon inside the classes with your direct personal questions. And I know, Sharon, you also have some real specific content that you're going to be taking them on, like a gratitude journey of sorts.
I'm really looking forward to that because, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's the end. And really it is a graduation into your own soul identity and understanding how to be grateful for who you are. And so as we begin the journey, it's really an introduction. And it's really an introduction to you and understanding how to strip away from that ego and then move closer to being grateful for who you are and who you're becoming. And then in the end, it's creating that self that is fully grateful, that is fully aware of her in his own life, and able to create absolutely everything that you want.
So what is the expected outcome of this course in gratitude?
Well, actually, I'm hopeful that it's the same for each and every person, and that's that place of inner peace and wellness and spiritual growth, physical, psychological healing, and also the opportunity for each person that is actually taking it to feel a place within themselves that is of peace.
We were talking about this before, and I know that this is true. I see it in my own clients, and I've even recognized it inside myself from time to time. We can carry feelings and emotions like guilt and shame, and sometimes these crazy, irrational fears come up, and we look at them and we think, well, where did you come from? I mean, it really doesn't matter where we are on the path, whether we've been doing this for a while and we think we've mastered it or we're just getting started. Like, these things can come up. And I believe that what you're talking about now is so important, that gratitude is that key that begins to, again, dissolve these feelings, guilt, shame, and fear, like that Alka-Seltzer tablet that we talked about earlier.
Exactly. And that's exactly what the course really looks like from the outside in. It's going to be that. It's going to be dissolving the issues in your life that have stopped you from moving forward and feeling at a place of peace and gracefulness within every step you take.
Now, Sharon, I also know that you, up at John Shee in Toronto, have a class, a very special class that is actually in person. It's a little bit different. I just want to give you a chance to tell us about that. Not to confuse with the advanced class, but you have a little live event that people can come to as well.
Yeah, actually, you can actually come and see me here at John Shee in Guelph, Ontario, and for personal one-to-one sessions on your own personal growth and life coaching, and also spiritual sessions and counseling as well. I love to do that. You can come see me at SharonQuirt.com. And we're also actually going to be offering a biomagnetism course here September 26th to the 28th, and it is very limited class space available, and you can contact me as well about information and at my website at SharonQuirt.com.
Sharon, thank you so much. And to all of you listening, again, Vivid Life University is so thrilled to be rolling out these advanced classes. Think of this series, this spirituality boot camp. You know how when you go in Baskin-Robbins, I don't know if you guys have Baskin-Robbins up there in Canada, but you go to the counter and they give you the little pink spoon, and you can try whatever you want. So this series to all of you is your little pink spoon. So we want to give you just a little sample of that deliciousness of gratitude, sacred space, meditation, prayer, all these things that would just bring so much sweetness to your life. And then beyond that, you can get your whole big scoop, and that's what we're offering in the fall inside the advanced class. So Sharon, amazing teacher, Hay House author, motivational speaker, spiritual counselor, 25 years. Okay, that's like a quarter of a century of expertise, okay? She can definitely help you get to that next space. And Sharon, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing these 5 steps were incredible.
Well, I'm so grateful to be here, and again, to Vivid Life and to you, Kristen. It is absolutely something that I think each and every one of us need to be grateful for just being here tonight. So thanks again.
Absolutely. And to all of you who have joined us for our series, Spirituality Bootcamp, again, I just want to encourage you. This is a complimentary series. I want to ask you to go and invite your friends, your coworkers, everyone you know to go to vividlife.me and register for Spirituality Bootcamp. We still have 5 more classes available. They're totally complimentary for you this summer. Next week, we're going to be talking about forgiveness. Now, I know that can be a big one for people, and that will be with the expert Gail Cloud. You're going to love her perspective. She is also an incredible teacher. So thank you to all of you. You have been listening to Spirituality Boot Camp, and I'm your host, Kristen White, and I will talk to you all next week. Bye-bye now.
Blog Talk Radio, where millions of hosts and listeners gather.
Years later, to bring to you some of the leaders, some of the thought leaders in the world of spirituality, personal development, and growth today here on Spirituality Boot Camp. And I'm so grateful to VividLife Radio and specifically Shane Travis, because we put our heads together and we're like, we need to create a university. We need to create a conversation for all of you out there who want to have this deeper consciousness and connection within yourselves so that you can move into this place of joy and peace and love and just connection with the flow of everything that is going on the planet today. So, a shout out to you, Shane. Thank you so much. I see you're in my Skype chatting with me, so I just want to say hi to you. Shane was on last week. We got him to come on to the show and to talk a little bit about our vision for Vivid Life University. And I just want to thank all of you who are listening. We've had an incredible response. There are a lot of you who have registered for this free series, and I invite you at this time to please invite other people that you know. It is our message and our mission to help create this shift, this opening, this conversation really for all of you who are out there, and that's why this series is offered completely complimentary. We want to invite you to participate in our Spirituality Boot Camp. Now today, I'm so excited. I absolutely love this topic today. I believe that this is in fact the most powerful transformational principle on the planet today, and that is the principle of gratitude. And so I have a leader, a author, a spiritual teacher. Her name is Sharon. This concept, Spirituality Boot Camp, is for people to get started wherever they're at in their lives. So for those of our listeners who are sitting there and saying, I'm finding something hard to be grateful for even today. Like I've had a hard day. Maybe I'm not working right now. My relationship seems like it's unraveling. Maybe I have a health crisis. What would you say to them directly in this moment?
Well, in all situations, there is some little form of experience that if there is to be grateful for. So let's take something like you said, maybe a breakup. In a breakup, often it is a door that is about to open that we're afraid to see. And possibly the pain that you suffered within the relation is about to be healed by loving yourself. So take from it the experience that the pain that you're suffering, maybe it is to teach you how to love yourself more, to care more for yourself as an individual. If you had an exceptionally difficult day, you fell off your bike, possibly it was to protect you from falling even harder. There's always a way to reframe the thought that you have from the negative experience to a positive outcome. It's just perception. It's the way you see it. Often I have people come to me and talk about some of the most traumatic experiences that they've been through and how they can find the power of gratitude within it. And it changes the way they think about absolutely everything. A lady actually last week broke a fingernail by hitting her thumb really hard with a hammer. And she called me up and she goes, I'm so grateful I did that. And I said, well, why is that? She goes, because the hammer narrowly missed my little baby boy's head. So to me, she found the power of gratitude in the fact that she hit her thumb instead of his little head.
Get ready to expand your intuition, connect to God, experience deeper relationships, open your heart and feel more joy, and finally end the chaos in your life. Are you ready to get unstuck and more? You ask, how do I do it? The answer is simple. The time has come for peak spiritual fitness. It starts right now on Spirituality Bootcamp with your host, Kristen White.
Hello, everyone. Are you ready to get fit, to get into that peak spiritual fitness? Well, now is the time. We have an incredible series, and this is only week 2. Yes, that's right. It's week 2 of Spirituality Bootcamp. And the reason that I came up with this concept is I was on a journey a while back in my life, and I thought, well, how can I shift my reality? I don't really like what things are unfolding in my life, and how can I take it to that next level? And I knew in that moment, inside my soul, inside my intuition, that if I could start to listen, if I could connect to these basic principles of sacred space, gratitude, forgiveness, visualization, affirmation, meditation, and prayer, that I could have a transformation. Now, at the time, I didn't have a map. There wasn't a plan in front of me, but I knew that something had to shift. And so I started this own personal exploration. And at the time, it was more of a self-you, like self-university. And so now, today, it is my great joy. Quirt, many of you are familiar with her from her show on VividLife Radio and all the work that she's done through Hay House and so many channels of inspiration and light. She does live workshops, incredible things. She's the co-founder of John Shi, which is a wellness center up in Canada. It's absolutely beautiful. She'll tell you all about it. But Sharon has also helped people from all around the world change their lives from fear, anger, resentment, and pain into that place of true gratitude. Have you ever thought to yourself, maybe there's a reason for this, or thank you for this experience, even though it may be unpleasant at that time? Well, Sharon is here to help you have that shift in your perception of what's happening in your life right now. She's going to share with us some techniques to bring in balance and healing and self-love, and her passion is for healing and spiritual guidance, and it's given her the opportunity to work worldwide. So she's got 25 years of experience, and she is just fantastic. So Sharon, thank you so much for joining us today here on Spirituality Bootcamp. I'm so thrilled you're here.
And I am so grateful. Thank you so much for having me.
So let's just start right off the bat. What is the meaning of gratitude?
Wow, it's one of those things that if you take the real time in your life to think about it, it's so simple. Because it is the single most powerful source of happiness. To be truly gratitude is to be completely accepting without judgment. And that is the one thing that I teach people the most, is to get to a place where you can look at all of the life experiences that you have had and find something in it that has taught you and has continued to teach you throughout your lifetime, and be grateful for it. Not being gratified, not being puffed up over it, be truly grateful to the core that it gives you back a sense of power, a sense of freedom, and a sense of communication within yourself. That's what I believe gratitude truly is.
Boy, I love that definition, because it really is complete. And I like it when you talk about sometimes we have circumstances that really offer us an invitation to transform the way that we look at things in our lives. I know I've had this happen for myself, where something has come in, and at the surface I thought, is this negative? And then as I look at it more, I think, boy, that was probably the biggest blessing in my life.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that I think most people really might miss out on until they get to a place of acceptance of gratitude. Because there's so many things that occur on a daily basis that we may see as being painful, traumatic, or an experience that may have left a scar. But when we sit back afterwards and we're able to look at it and really examine what it is that it's brought into our lives, we can then find that shining light of power that it's giving us. And maybe it's something that we've learned that we need to teach somebody else with, or possibly it's something that we've had to serve our own life purpose. Or maybe it's something that we were to learn to help us move forward into a bigger and better picture of our own identities. But all of those little experiences added up, even when they're negative, can have that experience or have that, potential gift within it to heal us and to guide us and to bring us to a better spiritual place within as well.
Absolutely. And, the whole reason that we created